Boom. That's our first ever that we split the onomatopoeias, and I feel it's perfect for episode 45.
It's perfect, and you know what? It's also perfect because I feel like I almost was like a bird having chewed a worm and regurgitated it to you across the internet to then receive.
Out of all the metaphors you could have designed or decided on, that's the grossest one and the most fitting, I guess.
Exactly, because you know what? Some of these chapters they're dealing with chefs and food, as we'll find out. But we're gonna find that out because we are reading through Eiichiro Oda's One Piece. And why are we reading through it? Because we are the Grand Line Tourist, a chapter by chapter examining or re-examining. I am doing the examining for the very first time because I am just but a mere tourist. I am Jacob, and across from me, across the internet,
across the interwebs, the ocean,
across
that is
the nest of the baby bird metaphor that I'm continuing is none other than fledgling. Well, no, not fledgling. What would be like a very wise, wizened, an eagle.
An eagle of his craft. Oh my god, I've always wanted to be eagle. Yes, I am Eagle Eric Vu, the tour guide. Jump on my majestic American wings as I take you through this American tour of being American awesome through this very Japanese product. I am so happy that we got to pay off all of these things. We're doing it. We're at it. I'm ready to go, man. How you doing on the tour so far? We're getting our fill with this arc of food. So this is going to be our food stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm doing quite well. I'm ready to rip and roll as well. And we're going to start off today with our itinerary for Chapter 45, Before the Store.
The store.
So, Luffy, he's talking to Sanji. And he asks him to join the crew.
Yes.
And, Sanji politely declines. Luffy is not particularly pleased about that, and they go back and forth for a bit.
Yep.
With Sanji, explaining to that Sanji is explaining that Chef Zeph used to be a pirate cook himself.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of cool. We get a little bit of backstory about the Baratier. It was frequented by pirates and pirate cooks, and those who want to see it. It kind of now this whole business, how this works at all.
It's a dinner and a show is what it is.
Yeah,
what
dinner and a show. Like
yeah.
I didn't quite. It's good that the people knew what they were coming to get, because otherwise I would have been quite confused about. Oh my goodness, how do they get any return customers? No, that's what they're known for. It's starting to make sense. The pirate who is starving from last time, he gets his very own name, Jin, and he. If you recall, he's one of Krieg's pirates, and he gives us an ominous warning about going to the Grand Line. Specifically, he says, "Don't go there. Don't go."
Well, you already paid, and there's no refunds, and you gotta. And also, like, home is 45 chapters back that way. We're not going there, so you gotta go.
I heard the end is not yet done.
Right.
1 billion chapters the other way.
Right. So we're good. We're just at the beginning of it. We haven't even hit it. This is just the appetizer before the appetizer before the entree. Look at that. All the food stuff. Keep going.
Fair enough. And there's more food stuff in this chapter because we see the galley where all the cooks are, and where we have a large lack of waiters because there's no one. Everyone's afraid. That's the reason all those waiters jump ship is because of all this nonsense and craziness with pirates and pirate cooks.
Yeah.
But listening to some of the the backroom galley chef talk, we learn that Krieg runs a pirate armada known as the Consortium. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Consortium is Consortium. I don't know. Tium. I like them both, but he runs that. It looks quite frightening. And everyone's getting a little bit of a scuffle because of what Paddy did earlier. Beating up a Krieg pirate. Everyone's worried that the Consortium is gonna come and get him. Something could go wrong. Chef Zeph did happen to see Jin leaving Sanji and Luffy. It looked like Sanji might have thought that he got away with it, feeding this little pirate there, but doesn't seem to be the case. Chef Zeph quickly puts Luffy back to work, and he is quickly shown to be bad at everything. He's not the best.
The chore boy, yeah.
The chore boy.
Yes.
And it gets even worse because Zoro, Usopp, and Nami are at the table, and they get to make fun of him as well. This reminds me. This feels like this happens in real life when someone comes to your work and they just know you work there, and you're like, great, this is great. I this is where I want to be seen. This is where I want to. Yeah, I'll serve you food. Yeah, let's do this.
Luffy doesn't want to serve him food though. Luffy's mad that he's being left out.
No, yeah. Zeph then tells Sanji to get out. He basically is saying that you don't maybe need to work here anymore.
You can go. Yeah. Because Sanji's joking about it. He's like, "Go, you can go. Bye."
Yeah. And Sanji was also taking some swipes as the ladies' man at Nami.
Yep.
And Jin then tells Krieg in like a flash over to wherever
Jin
Krieg
is.
happens to be in this dark area. That he's gonna take him out to eat. He's gonna take him to the Baratier. So what those chefs were worrying about is coming to happen. And that was a mouthful of a chapter.
Yeah, you really broke it down. You got all the good details in there. That's good. That's good.
No. Sometimes I think I went maybe went a little too detailed. It's hard to do.
It's
it
okay
sometimes.
though, because I think what you did very well, and this helps because there's so much exposition in this chapter. Right? And the beginning of an arc, there are always so much. We have to know so much. So many things have to be set up, right? It helps to know that Krieg has an armada as opposed to just a ship, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And all that stuff needs to come out some way. It's nice to know. I mean, there's a little thing here where Sanji says that Zeph used to be a cook on a famous pirate's ship. And I hope that you are thinking about which one that is, because I don't even remember which one it is. And I hope that somebody... I don't want them to write in, and if they do, they need to hide the spoilers so Jacob doesn't see. Because I don't remember who Zeph was the cook for, but now I'm all invested, and I'm trying to figure it out. I might look it up afterwards.
Yeah, no, and just put a big bold... Jacob, don't read, tour guides only after the break, however you want to do it. Send it in to grandlinetourist@gmail.com, and we'll make sure the right eyes read the right words.
Because there's just so much. Because what's cool about One Piece again, and because we're barely starting to scratch the surface. Obviously, we're only 45 chapters in, but all of these people, all these stories, and all these all these characters are connected in really fun ways. So like I was telling you before, when Buggy and Shanks are connected on the same pirate ship, it makes you wonder, okay, then where does Zeph fall into this legacy of this story, of this bigger story that's being told at One Piece? This is not on my segment, because you brought it up, and it triggered all this, where I don't know who Zeph used to be cooked for, and now I really want to know, and maybe we'll find out in this arc, then I'll find out later. Maybe I won't even ruin it, maybe I won't look it up, maybe we'll finish this arc. If the answer's not there at the end of this arc, then I'll look it up, or I won't.
No, you gotta give yourself a little bit of the tourist experience as well. If you feel like if you're just going through the motions, everything, that's no good. You occasionally want to forget how you're leading the hike through the desert, and you just want to forget which turn to take at the end. That's more exciting for everybody.
But in real life, hopefully your tour guide, ladies and gentlemen, really knows where they're going, because you can't have a tour guide who's guessing out there on a hike, because you could die. So anyways,
That's true.
So in real life, don't follow that advice. All right,
unless you want to.
No, don't do it. Adventures only go so far. Okay, first thing I wanted to chat about is that Luffy's recruitment process is the same. He hasn't changed in 45 chapters. He treats it exactly the way he did with Zolo, which is don't take no for an answer.
Yep. And
knowing Luffy's gonna find a way to kind of blackmail or trick Sanji onto his team in some capacity, right, at this point.
It's when Luffy sets his mind to a crew member, I don't think there's any way that crew member doesn't wind up on the crew. Has it happened yet? I don't think he's pointed anybody out and singled anybody out that hasn't wound up on the crew.
Right, exactly. And I think the only one that he was didn't know he wanted until later in the arc was Usopp, but this is cool. Yeah. This is very very similar to Zolo in the sense that just I want you now, and this is the start of the arc, right? So now,
it's actually what you just said made me think of. There's two ways onto Luffy's crew. Either you go to Luffy and you yell at him, "Let me on your crew."
Yeah.
Let me be your captain, the Usopp way. Or Luffy yells at you, "You're gonna be on my crew." So those are the two ways onto the crew. I like it. It's it's both of them are aggressive and they both work. It's interesting.
Yeah. So let's kind of dissect a little bit about Sanji. And I know we talked about it last arc, but for you, do you still kind of see why he wants Sanji more than anything? Are you feeling any of that?
Yeah, I mean, it is this. I think we had like some translation notes last time trying to like dissect whether the pirate that ate his food was like, was his food really good, or was he just happy because Sanji protected him? And like the question is like, which one did Luffy care about as well, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I think honestly, it's the chef being able to feed someone who's hungry. I don't think it was. I don't know. I think that
is that a line
in Sanji? Yeah,
to
I
the
think
crew
that's
culture that Luffy has in his crew.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And the fact that the food's delicious doesn't hurt as well.
Right.
I mean, that's a personal Luffy satisfaction that just like, hey, I mean, I'm sure it gets noted, but I don't think Luffy has eaten any of the food yet, right?
No, I mean, he did as a chore boy.
He didn't have a chance. He was put to work.
He hasn't eaten Sanji's food. He's just eaten the food that he's not supposed to be eating because it belongs to customers. Later on.
So that's interesting. Luffy has decided his chef without even tasting a bite of his chef's food.
Oh, that's a cool thought. Yeah,
because he knows the chef's character. Like he knows what is in this chef's blood, and it's this desire to feed. Even those who can't pay but are in need. So that's like where Luffy's coming from, in my opinion. And
do you think I kind of wanted to poke your brain a little bit about too, like this dynamic that he has? Obviously, like Zeph's like, you need to go, and he's like, I don't want to go, type of thing. And like, do you buy Sanji's like hesitation to join this thing? And like, what's your read on him saying no or declining this whole thing?
I feel like we don't know enough yet.
Yeah.
Like there must be something there is kind of what I'm feeling. So because we have Chef Zeph, who he's not like no one really loves him yet as a character. Sanji's not a big fan. Luffy's not a big fan because he's put to work, but he seems like a get stuff done, respect in the kitchen sort of chef.
Right.
And it is, I hear a lot, it can often be this way where like the number 2 in a kitchen is sort of in a weird spot because they're sort of they kind of want to be a head chef someday, but currently they're not in that position, and they have to do a lot of work and like kind of show the effort, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so there's a chance that is just like Sanji has a respect for that sort of thing. It would make me think that even though it looks like Chef Zeph and Sanji butt heads, that maybe there's a specific memory that there's like kind of like when people like riff off of each other, but there's like a deep love. Maybe Sanji and Chef Zeph got that going on. That might be that. You know what? That's gonna be you putting it on.
Oh my God! You're putting
tinfoil time prediction. That's right. Get it down there.
I know. I gotta take notes. I forgot my notebook. Okay, go for it.
But yeah, that's what it is. I would say that there is history between Chef Zeph and Sanji that binds them together in a way that like makes Sanji want to stay under Chef Zeph, even though at the same time he's like verbally they're like abusive and like in a way that doesn't seem like it's a healthy friendship at the moment.
I think the only way to make this a viable tinfoil hat, because that's kind of like, if you know any sort of storytelling, you kind of see that already. What do you think? Let's do.
What is it?
You have to do like a Hail Mary guess here. What do you think it is that does bind them? What is the trauma that binds them?
As a storyteller,
yes.
I gotta say that it's gotta be that Sanji's desire to feed anybody must have come from being fed by Chef Zeph.
Oh,
he must have not been able to pay at some point in the past, or might have been down on his luck, and he got food from Chef Zeph, and that is why he currently has that attribute, and he kind of lives by that code. And so because interesting, I think we saw Chef Zeph give out. We saw Chef Zeph see Sanji, kind of throw away the plate to hide.
Yeah, he wasn't really hiding
food,
it.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well I wasn't sure. Like I thought it was a fake attempt at hiding it. Like I actually thought I thought Sanji, someone seemed to imply that it wouldn't be good for Chef Zeph to see the fact that we'd fed somebody like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure.
I also think that Zeph saw him do it. Zeph saw. I feel like Sanji picked it up in front of him and threw it over the side. I was like, "What plates?" You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So you think Sanji did that motion knowing Chef Zeph was looking?
Yeah, it's kind of like...
no, that kind of that works with my theory. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I thought maybe only Luffy had noticed Chef's F. It makes more sense that they both noticed Chef's F. It wouldn't a world where Sanji didn't notice, but Luffy did. Is strange.
Right, no.
So that makes a lot more sense.
It's a little more snarky, like, what are you going to do about it, Dad? You know what I mean? Like, you saw me.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it, Dad? Because don't you remember when you saved me when I was on my last legs?
Oh, okay. I wrote that down, so I have
it. No, the other way to go would be, it's got to be, that's like the thing that, it could be, I don't know, some sort of the opposite, where like Sanji, notes that Chef Zeph never does that, and, then he's decided to dedicate his life to being a different type of chef. But I'm going with the first one. I want to say that he got the attribute from Chef Zeph himself. Whether Chef Zeph still has that attribute, I don't know, or if it grates against him. That's my current theory.
So we have. I'm gonna move on to the next topic, which we have a fun little thing. First, we get a glimpse of, and this goes hand in hand. We get a glimpse of this Don Craig Armada, and the substantial mystery of the Grand Line, right? Because we get told through exposition that the Krieg pirates have 50 pirate crews underneath his armada, and based off what we hear from Jin is that didn't really mean anything in the Grand Line because now they're back, right? It wasn't
okay. No, you're actually tying it together quite well for me. Because I know they're back, and I didn't quite think that it was the Grand Line that caused. I knew Jin had a fear of the Grand Line, but I wasn't putting it together that meant that this was hey, an entire armada went out there and we're back. We didn't quite get there.
Right, like he's coming back and he's warning him. So that's kind of like what I'm putting piece by piece. Obviously, I am a tour guy, so I know the future. But I think based off the information that he's saying right now, we're supposed to kind of. Like we said in the last chapter, we're measuring the power level, and this is kind of like our very first-hand experience from a character explaining what the Grand Line is like.
I didn't know. You're right. It's kind of funny. It's like we knew all the characters had power levels, but we didn't know that you could top deck a card that's called the Grand Line, and it's gonna have the best power level in the game. You're like, oh no! Yeah,
it's scary. It's a mystery. It's a monster sort of deal, right? Which is kind of awesome to talk about. Do you? I guess this is all together. Any thoughts about maybe the Krieg pirates first? Hearing a little bit about this man who has built this armada of pirates in the East Blue.
He's still shrouded in mystery. The fact that he has an armada, it is kind of similar to learning about that there is an ocean-going restaurant in the first place, or that how the Grand Line works. This is just another moment for me where the world of One Piece is not a bunch of solo ships on the ocean, right? I know we always had the Navy, but that just feels it's kind of leading to this point where I don't yet know how intricate politics and stuff are going to be, right? Because now if we can have pirate armadas and consortiums, and we have the Navy, and then we have the Grand Line, and it's shaped around the world in this way, and then there's restaurants that specialize in the fighting of the chefs that are there. It just kind of leaves me excited to see how much bigger it balloons, because I think I'm always assuming, for whatever reason, that I've seen the balloon, I've seen it all, it's not going to blow up anymore. And so this is just another example of it blowing a little bit bigger, right? And I guess that comment from the individual pirate about don't go to the Grand Line was kind of like when Luffy said, I think he wanted to find the One Piece, right?
Yep.
So I think it kind of lets me know that maybe that was why the pirates were banding together in the first place. I guess you want there's got to be the pull to go there in the first place, right? Which is the starting of this whole story from the Grand Line, right?
Yeah.
Is from Romance Dawn. That there's a reason to go here, and it's because actually I don't remember. Did we get the pirate's name that hid his One Piece?
Yeah, Goldie Roger.
Yeah. So we have that going on now too. So this is just the pull of that and how important it is just kind of emphasized here again, and it hasn't been emphasized for a while. I don't think this is we've had a lot of I guess the whole Usopp arc was really unrelated to Grand Line stuff at all.
Yeah, because I think at the overall, like, Luffy's overall arc, and then, again, like, right, he's the one who's affecting different places that he goes to. So, obviously, whatever is happening in that specific area that Luffy's at is the most important story at the time, but he does have his overall goal of getting the One Piece, which is happening on the Grand Line. And I think we'll find, as we keep going, that the Grand Line represents many things. It's kind of like how, you know, that Los Angeles is where Hollywood is, so you get a bunch of different people with different goals. Like, people come here to be screenwriters, people go to LA to make movies, or maybe they come to LA to be musicians, right? Like, each city represents, or each place represents, like, the talent or the dream, essentially, right? Yeah. So when he asked, when Jin is asking, like, hey, you're a pirate, what's your goal, right? Then, based on what he says, well, right now, all pirates' goals seem to lie on that little strip of land across that little strip of ocean around the world, which is the Grand Line. And he's saying actively don't do that, but, you know, whatever. Luffy's not going to care. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Another fun little thought experiment that I wanted to bring up with you is that maybe, and this might be too loose, and it is my job to look deeply into dumb stuff like this anyways, which is quantity versus quality. Krieg has built an armada. It's 50 pirate crews. That's a ton of people. That's a lot of food. That's an army that he took to the Grand Line. Whereas when Jin asked, like, you don't have a cook yet, so how big's your crew? And Luffy gets that fun joke of being like, 5, including this dude.
Oh yeah, if you count the guy that isn't yet on the crew.
Yeah. But, like, that's the opposite, right? That's that's amassing an army, as opposed to Luffy is like, oh, I just want one ship that does the thing the best.
Right? The merry-go. We're gonna do it on the merry-go with 4 people.
Yeah, so that was kind of a fun little thought, and, like, again, we get to talk about our crew coaches again. We haven't met this pirate. We haven't met Krieg, but already we're seeing the difference between what he thinks is power versus what Luffy thinks is power.
Yeah.
Right. And
it's funny when you first mentioned quantity versus quality. I thought it was funny that that pirate that was talking to Luffy about this in the first place, I believe mentions something along the lines of, like, you can go and plunder other parts of the ocean. You know, you don't need to get. It was almost like a different type of quantity versus quality. Like, you know what? You can have an easy pirate's life if you don't go for the Grand Line. That's kind of what the implication was there. And, you know, but then again, Luffy's crew culture is not going to back down from a challenge either.
No,
you know?
I mean, like, because it's not about, like, for Luffy, it was never about money, right?
Yeah.
Because what Jin is saying essentially is, like, gold is gold. You can rob gold here in the East Blue if you want, right?
There you go.
But, like, because, again, One Piece as an idea, where Goldie Rogers left, people assume One Piece is money. And we're not. They can still be right. I don't even know. We haven't seen One Piece yet. We don't know what One Piece is, right? But for Luffy, maybe One Piece is just a dream. You know, it's the dream. It's the act of the dream. So what Jen is saying means nothing to him because, like, I don't need to stay. It wasn't about plundering. It was never about money. But then again, we're seeing again, like, Buggy was like this too, where he's like, money is everything. Jin is like, plundering and money is the same wherever you go. Yeah, but it's not about that. It's about the pursuit. For Luffy, at least.
There you go. Not a bad code to live one's life by.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The lies we tell ourselves. Paying off Usopp's arc. Okay, so this is...
Oh, yeah, well, and also, you know what? I almost feel like what you said was like a little bit of a small version of what we saw play out in Dagnabbit. I can't remember. Does it start with a G? What's his name? He's in a box.
Oh, Gaiman.
Gaiman, not Gavin. I knew it. Okay,
Gavin.
I knew I had it wrong. That's why I didn't want to say it. Gaiman in his own way was, you know, living with the dream of whatever
was
could
on
be
top of
in
that
those
hill.
treasure chests, right?
Right, yeah. But it was also
cool.
like the pursuit of that is nothing to be sad about, right? You can be disappointed about it, but it's the pursuit of the pursuit of that dream. You know, it gave you the ability for him to live and survive on that island and made his strange animal friends.
Very good. Very cool. Do you have any other big topics for today?
I do. I do have one last thing.
Oh,
and this is just, I'm calling it a loose connection. I'm going to call that's what it is. A loose connection. But I wanted to ask
Is this like, you know, when you call someone and they don't call back and you're just like, oh, man.
This is closer to
when
weird people go on Craigslist and they go, like, I saw you on the bus. Some more stuff like that. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
This is just a tie-in because I kind of want to tie it in more because, you know, part of this journey, a part of stories is trying to relate it to us. But I wanted to ask you because as teenager, or like a lot of people's
I'm not
first
a teenager
job,
anymore, Eric.
I know you're not. A lot of people's first job ends up being in the food industry. Did you ever work in a restaurant or anything like that growing up? Have you ever worked in food?
I have worked in food once, and it was last year.
Really?
Yeah, I might be wrong on the time frame. To be honest, I've worked more service jobs in the past 2 years than I have in the younger parts of my life.
Okay.
And so what I did is at one point, I was making a lot of pizza during the pandemic, and I said, I'm going to go do it in a real pizza restaurant, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to, I'm Sanji. I don't know. Maybe Chef Zeph makes really good food, and he just wanted to train under the great Chef Zeph. I was like, I'm going to go train under the great pizza restaurant in Orange County.
Yeah.
And I got in, and I worked 2 shifts, and then I left.
It just wasn't for you, right?
It was a long commute, and it was actually a bit, at the time I was having some ear sensitivity issues, and kitchens are loud. Mm-hmm. I think there's a way to do it more manageably, and I think it was actually a lot of fun. I got to make. I was impressed by how much stuff I'd already made within 2 shifts. Hardcore. I have a great. It was good to do. I have a great appreciation for restaurant workers now, more so than I did. But aside from that, maybe I turn the question back on you. Did you work maybe a longer stint in your younger years
so my parents,
any service or food?
Yeah, my parents had a restaurant for most of the time I was in high school, so about 5 years. I think from middle school up, so I used to work there all the time. So I have experience in the kitchen too. But I bring all of this up, right? And I agree with you. Kitchens are loud.
We need to cook together.
It's hot.
I need to learn from you. You have it in your blood.
So I would have been the people who jumped off the burratier, right? I was that group. I wasn't the cook in the back because that's what my parents did. But I was thinking about restaurants in general, and restaurants are kind of this weird mix of blue-collar, labor-intensive work and art and artistry. You know what I mean? It exists in this weird thing where a lot of restaurant work, a lot of it is just grinding it out and being labor-intensive and just washing dishes, cooking the dishes, slaving over a stove and stuff like that. Most of it's that. But there is an artistry to the food, though, right? There is a lot. There's a deeper meaning between the balance of food and flavors and stuff like that, and you get to kind of see. And I think this is what this arc is kind of gonna start digesting, right? We see a cut in this chapter of the chefs talking in the back, right, and all this stuff. And to them, what's fun to me is they're the blue collar guys, they're the guys who are there to. It's a job. It is a job. Yeah. I don't need to think about food more. It's cooking to them is a collection of tasks, right? It's a collection of tasks that I need to do in specific order to make the final product. But for Sanji, and I feel like we're getting a little bit of it. For Sanji, is not a collection of tasks. It's actually it's art, or maybe it could be the way he reacts to people not eating food, right?
Yeah, well, I would say Sanji, regardless of how artistic he's getting, at least has a very visceral appreciation for what the food means to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
Or what the food is going to do for the person that eats it is an important thing to Sanji, and
right.
So I think it's hard if you're thinking about that to not be either artistic or at least be concerned in a way that results in something that's kind of beautiful in a way.
Yeah.
But it's actually funny. I didn't actually think that all the chefs in the back were necessarily not doing that or didn't care about that as much. I just thought this might have been a Chef Zeph. All the other chefs got to fall in line. I thought this might have been classic, stereotypical crew culture for restaurants as far as various media sources have led me to believe. Is you kind of have your head chef that. Mm-hmm.
Makes
gets
a lot
to
of
be the artist.
Huge decisions. Yeah. He's the
almost
artist.
like your director in films, right?
Yeah.
It's not that the lighting person doesn't have thoughts about how lighting works. It's just that they're not going to question mm-hmm. the meal that's currently being prepared.
Yeah, I just think it's just so interesting, and what we're kind of even doing a fun little metaphor for too is like a restaurant kind of is its own little crew. Right,
yeah.
Like a pirate crew, right? You got different guys doing different things, deciding different things, right? Decisions are being made all the time, and so I thought it was just fun because now it's funny, we both actually have first-hand experience of being in the food industry. I know you only did
got more legit
shifts.
Experience.
Well, a little bit more, but that at the bottom level of a restaurant, that's it. It's easy, right? The tasks are there. You know what you have to do every day. right? That's easy, the part
It's
of
true.
it. But the high level of it, when they're actually designing menus and designing foods and dishes, like that is where the art part of it is, which is fascinating to me, and I'm hoping that we kind of see how that plays out in the rest here, because now maybe that can help us explain a little bit of the relationship between Zeph, who is head chef, and Sanji, who is chef number 2.
Yeah, we got to know. They probe the question. Why is he sticking around? We want the answer.
We want the answer. Cool. Thanks for doing that experiment with me.
No. I love these experiments. Yeah, and I thought it was intriguing that I had such a strange answer to your question.
All the time, bro. I love it.
I literally avoided the regular. I really wish now that I had someone force me into a more classic summer service working job back in the day. I think it would have been good for my development.
Good character building. I agree.
I know it is, and I mean, I was definitely busy and I was doing other things, but yeah, I think it. Not to get too into it, I don't have my understanding of work and what it means. I think was drastically shifted. It's shifted by what work you've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just any experience at all is useful.
Yeah. So our advice, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this podcast. Make your future kids, work in a restaurant so they won't be jerks.
Yeah, worst thing they do, they come home and you send them to the restaurants that you like the meals in. You say just look at what they do.
And restaurants are great because
cheddar Bay biscuits from Red Lobster every day.
Restaurants are great first jobs because unlike don't be like Luffy, they're not gonna have time to look on their phones and be on TikTok, man. They're gonna put you to work at a restaurant. When a restaurant needs help, they're gonna put you to work. Should we do some ha-has? Should we go to the ha-ha section?
Oh yeah, let's do fast round of ha-has. What do you got? Actually, there's a lot of good ones in this one. So
I decline your
declination. I really liked a stray cannonball launched in self-defense, and then someone's like, that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, well, it makes sense to us because we know what Luffy's made out of.
Yeah, no, but like, if you read that line on its own, a stray cannonball launched in self-defense, like, what? Like, what? How did that even happen? Yeah. What does that mean?
I love that they gave Luffy a fun little a new nameplate in this chapter when he becomes Chore Boy. It wasn't to say something like Luffy
on hiatus from piracy, free labor, Chore Boy, Monkey D. Luffy. Yeah, I had that one written down. I loved it.
Great.
Yeah.
And then later on too, we get a fun little joke. I think it's this chapter when he's saying that chores are hard. Kobe must have been miserable. Fun little.
Oh yeah, no, that is the perfect callback. Yeah. That is just like it's not even over. It's one word, in a panel that like connects a bunch of knowledge about One Piece, which I really liked.
What else do you have?
No, I was gonna end on the hiatus from piracy free labor Chore Boy. So
I have to real quick because when I was asking you about if you ever worked in a restaurant, you didn't work there long enough, but dudes like friends used to come visit me at my restaurant, and it felt like what Luffy feels like. We're just like, why are you guys here, jerks? But I thought that was funny. That I have to give it that, and I love that. There's a scene where he's putting his burger in Zoro's water, and then Zoro catches it and puts it into his face, and it's fun. What a fun little.
It was good, yeah. Force feeds Luffy, right? The joke that he had planned on Zoro. Classic.
Yes, because Luffy at the end of the day is still a child.
and Zoro is casually pretending he's about to drink it before he does it. Such a
fun
move.
page reveal, right? Isn't that such a fun little like? Oh look, we get a joke at this turn, which takes a page to do. Cool. Should we fight each other now?
We should fight each other. That's what every healthy relationship consists of. Just like I think Chef Zeph and Sanji's relationship is. A healthy relationship with lots of fighting. That's just what we're witnessing. So we are going to enter the panel battle. This is the section of the podcast where Eric and I pick our favorite panels from the chapter, and we set them head to head. We set them dish next to dish for a, gigantic taste testing eat off where you can all write in and be a little bit of judges. You can even write in, be a little bit of contestants. It's all exciting here on the Grand Line Tourist podcast. Write us in at grandlinetourist@gmail.com. We love when you all enter the fray, enter the galley, and dine with us. It's just lovely.
Enter Hell's Kitchen. Can I take the first move? I don't know why I asked because I already did it. Bam.
Oh, let's see what this is. Aha! We have Luffy leaning back on his chair inside the galley, and we have Chef's yelling at each other, getting things happening back there. Where's table 6's dessert? Who took that order? You did, fool. I'm too busy. Open your eyes. You looking for a fight? And yeah, so we just got like the hustle and bustle of the working kitchen, and Luffy, although apparently working as a slave labor at this moment, is kind of oblivious to it all, just leaning back in his chair. Got a clunk.
Can I just say too, the chair has a dialogue bubble too, Jacob. What's the chair say?
Wait, that's the chair saying creak, right?
Yeah, creak.
Right?
Yeah,
the chair. You know what? It is funnier that it's a dialogue bubble. I kind of thought of it as an onomatopoeia, but that got upgraded. The chair is like noting just how strange Luffy not doing something in this busy environment is.
I just love, for this one, for me, you could just hear the hustle, like you can hear how busy it is in that one panel, and Luffy is the complete opposite of whatever else is happening there. It's so good, and he got such a cool little like half-page nameplate panel also right before you read it, right in order. When you read this page, you're reading his cool little fun little joke of his nameplate here, and the next scene right next to it, next to this cool panel, is him being lazy because he doesn't know what to do in the kitchen. That's not what he's built for. He's not built to work in this way. No.
Well, This will be interesting. I got to send you my panel, and It is the rightmost one. You got to tell me, do we have, what are we thinking here?
The rightmost? Are you talking about the panel I was just talking about?
Well, yeah, the panel you were talking about, but that was, like, the panel you sent me was a specific one with the chair creaking. I'm saying I specifically chose the character splash.
You did. This is great. You chose the On Hiatus from Piracy, that one, right? Yeah.
I couldn't, it's really, I think, just for the addition to Luffy's wardrobe that we have going on here that you have to tell all our listeners about.
This is the character splash. I love that you're calling it. That's a really good one. A character splash panel where it's Luffy standing really cool, like the shonen introduction panels that this manga usually does. And his nameplate is obviously On Hiatus from Pirate Sea, Free Labor, Chore Boy, Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy, he's still wearing his outfit, but now he has an apron on.
Yes.
And
it's waving in the wind. Or he just put it on with really you must have really whoosh tied that tight.
I love it. This is so cool. Man, our things can complement each other. It's such a fun...
They complement each other, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fire off the noise this time for the exact same as we would if we really nailed it. But it's almost better when this happens, to be honest.
These three panels are such good visual comedy. Like, it's this panel, and then we get the exact juxtaposition of how lame he actually is. Because he sucks. He doesn't do anything. And then the last panel of this page is all of four of these chefs yelling at him. And he's still in the chair.
My goodness. And, he doesn't have exactly the proper non-stick footwear for this sort of work in a kitchen. He's got his sandals on still. Ugh.
It's great. It's one of those things where, because Luffy's design and the way he wears, you can put almost any iconic piece of clothing that deals with any, occupation to him, and it'd be funny. Right? If you're like, how would you dress Luffy as a doctor? Well, you just give him a coat. You give him a white coat and a little thing, and he's still wearing the same dumb thing, right?
Let the sandals flare out at the bottom. Be perfect.
Before we end, I want to say just a fun little... I think it is in this one. There's a panel back on page 10. When the first time we cut back, the chef is holding a knife. Just to kind of an honorable mention. I don't know why Oda even spent the time to do this, but that chef has a reflection in the knife he's holding.
I did see it. I nearly chose that as my panel.
Yeah.
Just because of how cool reflection is in a manga. It just is you don't need it, and it just adds that panel all of a sudden is it became my number 2. It was my number 1 until I got to the Luffy panel, and I was like, sorry chef with the and that. As far as I can tell, it's one of the more well-known chefs. It's got a iconic glasses that are kind of...
He has a distinct look.
Yeah. He's distinct, but he doesn't. I don't think he's been named yet. I don't think.
No, I don't think so either.
Maybe not. But he's cool. I like him.
Yeah, it's just so interesting that he did it, and I love that he did it. So, yeah.
Nice. You got to keep those knives sharp and clean. If you can't see the reflection of your face, it's dangerous. Not sharp enough.
I think. Do you have an onomatopoeia we can end on?
Ooh. You know what? I usually write down a great idea in my notes just in case I need a backup one. But today I didn't, so we're just gonna have to.
I got it.
Oh,
we'll do. We'll just do. We'll do water.
Me and you are professional. Oh yeah.
Oh, I was gonna do water.
Me and you, we're. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it's a
It's an onomatopoeia off.
Onomatopoeia, professional chef noises. I was going somewhere along that. What were you saying? Water hitting.
Let's do that. Let's do noises of a kitchen, but not the actual, no dialogue, just noises of a kitchen.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Alrighty.
And then you all, as the listeners, need to decide what noise is what.
Oh yeah, no, wait, Eric. Picture the dish you're gonna create, and I'll picture the dish I'm gonna create, and then like take the iconic moment of noise from that, and then we'll go off, and the listeners will clearly identify the dishes we're trying to make.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Mine was ramen.
You were making ramen? I was making French fries. Classic.